On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history to get the criminals out. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. We're going to kick them the hell out of our country as fast as possible.
Now, the crackdown could affect industries across the country for one very good reason. So I've got a rather nice, I do like a bit of whole milk, dairy. In Idaho, 90% of on-farm jobs in the dairy industry are filled by foreign labour. Rick Naerebout is the CEO of the Idaho Dairymen's Association, and thank you, sir. Thank you. I do enjoy not only milk, full milk in my tea and coffee, but on my cereal as well. It's a vast industry, $7 billion in total. Quite simply, documented or otherwise, can your industry run without migrant workers?
No, we absolutely cannot survive without an immigrant workforce. They make up the majority of our workforce and have for decades.
And how many of that how many people, roughly percentage, would you say, hand on heart, with knowledge of the real world, are undocumented? Percentage?
It's going to be tough. I mean, the reality of the situation is we've got 90% of our workforce that we know are foreign born. We don't have access to a visa program because we're year-round agriculture. We can't utilize the H-2A visa program that other ag industries can use. So when you've got a stat like 90% being foreign born, and you don't have a visa program, that's going to do a lot to inform you as to what the estimates might be for those that are here without authorization.
But I was saying at my morning meeting here, you know, surely the authorities, the ICE, CBP, immigration, surely they are aware of the reality, and they are aware if they suddenly head off to Idaho to start rounding up undocumented migrants, that essentially the cows won't get milked and the milk won't get delivered.
That's exactly right. And the reality is there are no secrets. When you look at I-9 audits that have been done in the dairy industry or other agricultural industries or construction or any of the many industries that rely on the workforce that looks just like ours, there's no secrets to ICE. They know exactly which industries are dependent on these workers because they've conducted the I-9 audits to know, you know, which industries are very dependent on an unauthorized workforce.
And therefore they were, yeah. But what do you want? Let's talk about, never mind, you know, we'll leave it to others to discuss the rounding up and the mass deportation. What for you would be an acceptable policy that squares that circle?
Yeah, for us, we're not asking for a lot. What we want is legal status for our existing workforce that are here. You know, they're well trained. They've been in the job for a number of years in most occasions, and they're workers that we don't want to lose. And so we would like legal status for our existing workforce that might be here without, you know, authorization, and then access to a visa program so that we don't end up in this situation in the future. So we don't feel like we're asking for anything that's unreasonable or too much. We just need to be able to line up the number of jobs we have in agriculture with workers that are willing to do the work.
Let's put it in blunt terms. If the workers get thrown out, deported, is it possible that you can find a replacement workforce either amongst legal migrants or amongst other Americans who will do the work?
We honestly could not. And first and foremost, Americans don't want these jobs. They haven't filled agricultural jobs for decades. And so this fallacy that Americans want to go out there and pick fruit or milk cows or do any of the other jobs we have available in agriculture, it's just not true. They're not jobs that Americans are going to take. And then if you look at a state like Idaho, where we've had a very robust economy for a number of years, we just don't have an unemployment rate that would indicate that the workers are out there if you remove all these unauthorized workers within a state like Idaho. And so to think that you could remove them and not have significant impacts that would lead to, you know, inflation at the grocery store, you know, that's something that I think voters made very clear this election cycle is inflation in the economy is a significant issue. And so if you start to look at increasing costs, you're going to have significant impacts on consumers' bottom line.
So do you, I understand the election is the result and the result isn't done, and that's fair enough. But do you sometimes just in frustration want to sort of throw your milk on the floor and sort of say, all right, you want these workers gone, you wait and see what's going to happen?
You always have those moments of frustration where you just want to throw your hands up or, as you state, throw our milk on the floor and walk away. But the reality is that's not American agriculture. You know, we pride ourselves in problem solving and figuring out how to do more with less. And we're going to continue to roll up our sleeves, work with policymakers, and try and find a path forward here.
Well, Idaho's a magnificent state. I've been there several times, and I'm looking forward to visiting again, where you and I will talk more next time over a glass of milk. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I appreciate it.